So, ahead of this summit, what more have we had from Donald Trump?
Well, I think what we can say is that expectations are much lower this time. That's reflected in Donald Trump's words there, which are really quite vague. Who knows? Let's see where it goes. Remember, of course, the fanfare surrounding the summit last June in Singapore. This, for the first time, was a US president meeting this international pariah. And whereas we were perhaps going from the threat of imminent nuclear war, here was the possibility of complete denuclearization, getting rid of nuclear weapons on the Korean Peninsula altogether. Now, the US wish list is more modest. Donald Trump says he's just looking for a pause in testing. He says, as long as there's no testing, we're happy. Now, the last nuclear tests and missile tests from Pyongyang were in 2017. The US president is again dangling the carrot of a better future for North Korea, saying that without nuclear weapons, North Korea could become one of the world's great economic powers. And above all, as we've heard, he's playing up his personal relationship with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Now, North Korean media are saying don't talk the summit down. But US intelligence, as you've hinted, have said that there have been no concrete steps really since the first summit. There's a lot of scepticism from Democrats as well.
Well, with that in mind, what can we actually expect out of a second meeting between the two leaders?
Well, different people talking about different things. On denuclearization, officials in Seoul and in Washington are saying maybe they will agree on allowing inspectors in to observe the dismantling of a nuclear reactor in North Korea. There's also talk of setting up liaison offices perhaps, as well as maybe a tourism zone in North Korea. One news agency in South Korea says it's possible they'll declare a formal end to the Korean War of the 1950s. Remember, of course, that ended in a truce, but there's been no formal treaty, which North Korea wants. Above all, maybe perhaps just preventing a backsliding into the insults and threats of a couple of years ago would be progress in itself. But some analysts see perhaps a shift in the US position, whereas before they were saying that Pyongyang must completely give up its nuclear program. Now there's really talk of perhaps just meaningful progress before the US makes some concessions. What's different this time, of course, is that Trump's domestic woes will be very much in the spotlight on Wednesday as well, because that's when his former lawyer Michael Cohen gives evidence before a congressional committee. He's also already implicated Donald Trump in campaign finance irregularities. So compared to the fanfare surrounding the summit in Singapore last June, events on Wednesday are going to feature very much a split screen between Vietnam and what's happening at home in Washington.